So you're on a beach with a pina colada, looking at your phone, watching money coming in whilst you sleep. Or are you watching this video in a toilet cubicle on mute with the subtitles when you really should be at your desk working? Sorry about that. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how you can quit your job through property. Okay, jokes aside, this isn't exactly about quitting your job. It's not about hating on your job, but it is about having choice. It is about having freedom. It is about having flexibility. So when I'm talking to my team, and it'd be a bit weird me doing a video, everyone should quit. No, Alex. You're not allowed to quit. However, if you're in a situation where you want to protect yourself, well, what if suddenly you don't enjoy being at work, but you have to be there? Or, you end up developing yourself and moving into a new role in the future. You just want to protect against yourself. It's about having the choice. It's about having the freedom to do what you want, where you want, with whom you want, and not be restricted by money. So the first thing that we need to do is reverse engineer the numbers. And this is really understanding, well, how many properties do I actually need to own? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 20? And I hate this question because it's just ego metrics. It doesn't actually accurately tell you anything. The number you need to be thinking about is what is your salary. So let's say this is just a worked example here. Let's just say your salary is £25,000, no, £30,000 a year. Okay, just to make the numbers easy. So £30,000 a year. And again, it's not so much about being able to quit, but it is about understanding what is likely to get you out of your job if needed. The most natural thing to be doing is talking about how many properties, but actually how much cash. I know it's a little bit crazy, but let's say your long-term average ROCE, which is return on cash employed or return on capital employed in property, is 8%. And by the way, it might start a little bit lower with your initial cash outlay, but you'll naturally refinance through time. This isn't based on refinancing long-term because obviously you get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'll tell you why this gets more exciting, but I'm talking about the safe way of getting out of your job. Now, if you think logically about this, £30,000 divided by 8% is £375,000. This is how much cash you will end up needing in order to put in your portfolio. Now that will end up being something like a £1.1 million portfolio because you can use that £375,000 cash for a deposit, etc, etc, etc. Now I'm going to assume you're watching this and going, well, I don't have £375,000 cash. Okay, that's fine. What you can do is you can borrow money from other people, but you still want to be able to quit your job. So what I like doing is whatever you need cash, if you don't have it, double it. So we're going to double this figure here, and this is going to give you £750,000. Now, some of you will be watching this going, how on earth can I raise 750,000? A lot easier than you think, but this isn't the video for that. Just bear with me. In general, you want to times this number by around 3.5 to work out what portfolio you're going to. I know people times it by 4 because of 75% loan to value, 25% deposit, but you're also going to have fees, refurbishments, etc. So in general, to get a £30,000 a year salary replacement from your portfolio initially, based on an 8% return on your capital, you need $375,000. But if you don't need that, you're going to need to raise cash elsewhere. And the easiest way to think about it is, if I raised money at 8%, so I'm going to pay people 8%, then obviously your first batch is going to be 0. So you're going to end up doubling that and getting that amount of money. So let's bring these numbers up a little bit, and then I'll bring it back down so you can get a photo or do whatever you need. So that's 750,000 times 3.5 is going to be a £2.625 million portfolio. Now, I imagine you're kind of thinking, what the hell? That is a huge portfolio to quit my job. Well, it's not actually that daunting, and I'm going to tell you how you can actually raise the money in the first place. But if we then then divide that, I'll get my calculator for this, and we do 2.625 million, and we divide that by an average purchase price of 150,000, that is going to get 17.5 times houses. So in order to comfortably retire, you are going to need to raise £750,000 and buy 17.5 properties. Quite a lot, right? But here's where it gets really cool, because actually what you're going to do down the line is end up refinancing and paying out. And here's where something called capital growth comes in, or you might hear it as in capital appreciation. This is where the value of the property goes up over time. The long-term average, by the way, is 7.9% per annum, which is absolutely crazy, right? But let's say it's at 5%, which is very, very conservative. And then let's go forward 1 year at a time. So if we've got 2.625 million, we're going to times that on your calculator by 1.05. The next year we have 2,756,250. Look at that net wealth increase. So while you're only getting your 30 grand a year because you're paying 30 grand to your investor, you're actually making £130,000 added to your net wealth. Well, you might go, well, that's great, Jamie, but 130 grand on paper doesn't allow me to quit my job or create the freedom. Well, no, but that's what the cash flow is for. You can do whatever you want. If you want to stay in your job, amazing. You want to quit your job, amazing. But it gets a lot better. Let's skip to year 5. So, are you ready? That's year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Hard to believe this, but within 5 years, you have got £3.35,239.10. The only reason you got to that, by the way, is clicking equals on the calculator 4 more times. Now, why is this important? Because now what you're going to do is you're going to refinance that property and you're going to get 75% out of the property. Okay? 75% out is 2.512 million. Now, if we look back to the original figure, we actually borrowed £750,000 and we ended up getting debt between these, which is this number here minus 750,000, which is about 1.9 million. So if we've got 2.5 million and we minus the 1.9 million there, what do we then have left over to pay back the investor? 612,000. Now, in an ideal world, wouldn't it be amazing if we could pay back the £750,000? Well, the likeliness is you will, because of 2 reasons. Number one, 5% is very conservative. The long-term growth is 7.9%. The last 2 years, the market has increased by 1% a month. And of course, you've got the cumulative or the compound interest. And what that means is the interest builds on the capital, and then it builds on the capital and the interest, then the capital and the interest, then the capital and the interest, and it carries on going. So the reality is you will be able to do that. But here's the cool thing. What you're left with is you owe an investor 750 minus that amount there, okay? So let's call it 140,000. Give or take on there. You've then got a value, a portfolio value, so a group of properties of 2.5 million. And you've got debt on that property, 1.884 million. What does that mean? Well, you've got what we call equity, which is the 2.5 minus the 1.88 of 616,000. That is your net wealth. Your net wealth right now is 616,000. We're going to pay back this debt here later, so we're going to have to take that 140,000 off of this. which now gives you a net worth of, let's say, to make it easy, let's just call it 490,000. Plus, you remember that cash flow of only 30,000 that you're able to quit your job on and create financial security for you and your family? Well, that has just doubled. So what will happen over this time period is you've paid back the investment, but also the increase in rents over time mean you're actually making more profit on a monthly basis. But more importantly, because you've paid the debt off, that 60,000 that was coming from the portfolio and you were originally paying out 30,000 to the investor is now almost all your money. So the true question isn't how many properties do I need, it's how much cash do I need to get working for me, and then double it to start building the portfolio. Now let's face it, there's a lot of numbers in that, and I'll scroll slowly so you can get it in, but the reality is this is what's needed. Now I could make it sound like you could be financially free in a day or two, but that's just not realistic. If you want me to break this down more, by the way, section by section, put job in the comments right now, J-O-B, and I'll break these down in future videos. But by the way, I said to you at the beginning, how can you raise this yourself? And the number one strategy for making that happen is deal packaging and property trading. And if you want to find out more about that and come on an actual educational course with me, a link is in the bio. You can fill it in, click on it, fill in your details, and one of my team will have a chat. Alternatively, if you can't find the link, put education in the comments right now. As I said, put JOB if you want me to expand on this more. If you are new to the channel and you want to learn more about financial freedom through property, click the subscribe button and the notification bell. I hope you got value. Watch the next video here, and on the way out, click the like button.